Hello everyone, welcome to our video update on NEO. We're going to take a look at NEO versus Bitcoin first, and then we'll take a look at NEO versus Tether. But before I get started, as always, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. This market is extremely risky and volatile, and so therefore you are responsible for your own trades and managing your own risk and doing your own research. And you know what? This is just my humble opinion on the market. So let's go ahead and get started here. I want to take a look at a couple things. Um, when I'm looking at this, it's not clean, but what it is very clear is we have, accumulation going on down here. So we definitely have accumulation that we have to pay attention to down here, and it is going to be in this range. Heavy amounts of accumulation were happening down here, and then of course we finally broke out when accumulation was completed, and more than likely accumulation completed. Let me clean this up just a little bit. I want this to be a little more opaque here. There we go. So we can still see it, but it doesn't penetrate the view too much. Okay, so what it looks like the accumulation completed in this candle here on the 24th of September. What we have here with that, we have a decent amount of volume, a good volume spike at the bottom. So that's your selling climax that people are always looking for when you're looking for accumulation. So accumulation completed here on the 24th, in my opinion. So that means this zone right here is going to be defended like really, really insanely. It's going to be defended because it was the accumulation zone for NEO. If you zoom out here, what you can obviously see is that we just fell and we just kept going and kept going, right? But eventually you're going to get to that point where you are going to start accumulating. And sure, you could argue that there was some accumulation going down here, but this area down here was definitely the accumulation area for NEO. So then we start seeing moves up. We start seeing impulsive moves. So we had our first little wave up here and then our retrace, and then we had a really big move here. So this was our wave 3. We come down for the 4. Now this 4 wave, I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm not going to take into account that wick up there, but we do have a little bit of a wedge that did get created here, a pennant, and then we finally broke out of that, and then we had that move up. But right now, although I don't really see any clear signs of bearish divergence, I suppose if I go to a daily time frame, let's just take a look here at the daily and see if I see any bearish divergence. I'm really not seeing bearish divergence that is concerning right now. So it is possible that NEO might have one more leg up, but if this was the top up here at 1523, I would expect we're probably going to come back down here to the 382 or the 50. If we come back down here to 382, that would be a good test of support. This correction, this consolidation here happened over the course of about 2 weeks. It started here at the buying climax, starting October 28th, went all the way through November 10th. So we're talking just about 2 weeks here. So what I'm expecting to see is, okay, well, we've got a few days here. We're going to go up again, and we're going to go in for this move down. We don't know where it's going to stop just quite yet, but what I can see is we have our horizontal support here. We have another area right here, which is also going to be important to pay attention to. So anywhere in this zone, if we do come down here, would be my area to buy. So somewhere between 1250 and 1300, that would be my current zone for accumulation. I'm not taking this trade, but if I did, this is where I would be looking to buy. Also, on the flip side, if we, within the next day or two, take out this high right here, I would probably go long at that point. So on a breakout of this trend line, that's where I would be looking to buy into a position, but it has to happen fast. If it happens in the next day, I would say it's safe to take a breakout. If it happens in the next 2 weeks, I would say if it hasn't come down here, it's likely a trap. You know what tends to happen, this is how you get bearish divergence. You're going to be kind of moving down here, and then you're going to get that last spike up to get your bearish divergence, and then this is when it's going to start moving down. So you need to be careful buying a breakout. If it happens in the next day, then basically what we're seeing there, if it happens in the next day, so we basically had this 1, 2, we had a big move 3, and then we go 4, and then we need to get that 5th move up. Right, and then we have the potential that we can go all the way up here to about 1700. But if it takes more time, then more or less a move up is going to be a trap, it's going to be distribution, and we're still going to come down here to this zone. So we need to be careful for that. Right now on the daily time frame, RSI is overbought. The stochastics are looking overbought. If I go to a lower time frame, even an hourly, hourly is showing me that there is a little bit more upside potential. It looks like we do have a little bit of a bottom right here. So it is possible for us to kind of move back up, but I would say that it's more probable that we are going to get rejection here at potentially 1475, up here at 1485, and especially up here at 1500. So the 1500, that's going to be your 618. Let me zoom in here so that we can take another close look at this. But targeting down here 1425 or lower is probably where this is likely going to end up going. I talk about these types of patterns a lot, and although it didn't really work out that well for some other charts, it's still something that you kind of have to keep an eye out for. So this trend line here, if we can break above that, then I do think that there is a little more upside. But right now we have our support that's sitting here at 1450. That 1450 is going to be a good support for us to pay attention to because it's likely going to break, even if it is kind of like a short-term break, because obviously something that goes up quickly like this one did, these pullbacks aren't going to be too pronounced. But if we come back down here to this zone, then I would be looking at targets for upside potential. So if we're going up here to a 1, 2, and it's okay for us to come down here to 1180 or even 1100, but you've got all of these crosses that are occurring. You have the 21 that just crossed above the 200 simple moving average. 21 obviously crossed above the 50 a long time ago. So it's possible for us to come down here and retest this 21 simple moving average, and if it just happens to be here at the 382, then this is perfect for a move up to 1700. 1700 it would be a good first target, but then of course we're taking a look at our normal usual suspects here, 1950 to 2100, and then of course our final target, which follows with the 1236, which is also the 1618 extension, right here at 2400. Of course, if I were to put a P&L on this, buying down here at the 382, taking that trade up to the 1618 extension, that is a massive 90% gain. And of course, I'd put my stop loss probably here at the 50, because if we break the 50, then we're probably going to come down here to 1100. Then I can take the trade from down there. But that also would insinuate that we would have lower targets as well. So that's also something that we have to pay attention to. If we come down here to the 618, then we're looking at a double top scenario, but still we're looking at a move up here to about 2200 if this is a 5-wave impulse. So we don't know if this is an A, B, C, or if this is a 1, 2, 3. If it's a 1, 2, 3, then we're really looking for this 2300 level to hit, because that wave 3 is going to be larger than the length of wave 1. So that's what I've got on NEO right now. I do think that there is going to be some short-term pullback. Look for the support zones to hold. We've got support at 1375. The big support that we're going to be looking at is down here around 1250. 1250 would be a really great place to buy if it comes down here. Otherwise, you could scale in some buys as it comes down, lower bids on the top end, larger bids on the bottom. So when you're doing a dollar cost average like this, you are getting a good entry. If we start to see this 200 simple moving average start to curl up, that would be really great because we haven't seen that in, gosh, a long time. If we're taking a look at the history on NEO, taking a look at this 200, let's hide this for a moment. This 200 simple moving average, it tried to start to curl, but it didn't, and we fell below it. So right now it's going to try to curl up. I have a bias that it probably will this time. So a retest of that 200 simple moving average should be that spring that you need. But yeah, I mean, really, NEO hasn't been moving upward since we broke through it back here in May of 2018, right? So obviously it was moving in an upwards direction, but once we broke through it, we never retested it until it came all the way down here. And then of course we failed. We retested back here. You can see we retested it and we failed. Now we've tested it, we broke through. Now let's claim some of these as support. I would be looking at that 21 exponential first. And then if we break the 21 exponential, still looking down there to retest that 200 simple, which is at the 50% retrace. So coming down here to 1180 is possible. If this starts to curl, then maybe 1250 it is. But we'll have to just kind of wait and see. But right now, I do think that either we're going to have some consolidation or we're going to have some correction. But we'll wait a couple days to see what happens because it took 2-3 days for us to get up here, and likely it's going to take some time to cool off. Wait for these daily Stokes to start to reset a little bit. Wait for the RSI to come down and reset itself before we can get that next move up. So that's what I got right now. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw them in the Discord or here in the YouTube chat. I'll do my best to answer. Otherwise, like, subscribe, share, all of that, and I will catch you all on the flip side. We'll see you all in the Discord.